is around, as part of the motion, there seemed to be insinuation that Rcmp is wiretapping or surveilling members of parliament. So, given your very, very great experience with the Privacy Commission and beyond, I wonder if members of parliament, for example, hypothetically, were colluding with others in the planning or the furtherance of illegal activities in Canada. For example, if they were working with the convoy, for example, that occupied Ottawa for a couple of weeks. Would there be any sort of parliamentary privilege that would interfere with the ability to conduct surveillance by the Rcmp, and including audits if a proper court order had been obtained?
All Canadians, no one is above the law. So all Canadians are subject to the law, including the criminal law, and can be the subject of investigations. I think the Rcmp stated yesterday that although that might be a possibility, that there are internal mechanisms to ensure that the surveillance of a member of parliament would require higher authorization within the Rcmp. I have no knowledge that MPs are surveilled in that way, but certainly at the level of principle, no one is beyond the law.
Thank you very much for that, Mr.
Tapian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And with that, I'd like to retable my motion from yesterday. I'll read it into the record. Pursuant to the motion adopted by the committee on July 26, 2022, the committee reaffirmed its request for all documents outlined in its original motion, that any documents received from the Rcmp that includes warrants, list of warrants, the scope of warrants, and the affidavits submitted in support of the warrant applications be considered by the committee in camera only and following the parameters outlined below. That all documents issued pursuant to this motion be provided to the Office of the Law Clerk and Parliamentary Counsel within 15 days of the adoption of this order. That all relevant documents be vetted for matters of personal privacy information, ongoing police operations, and national security by the Law Clerk and Parliamentary Counsel within 7 days of the receipt of the documents, and that all documents be circulated to committee members at the earliest opportunity once vetted. Again, just to reaffirm to my colleagues, this isn't about, a witch hunt. This is trying to understand the mechanics behind and circumstances in which warrants are used for the on-device investigative tools, and that this technology needs to be further looked at. We can do this through the document process, but I don't want to violate people's privacy rights. I don't want to undermine the ongoing investigations that the Rcmp are currently involved in, as well as raise any information that is considered a national security risk. So we're trying to ensure that our clerk, the Parliamentary Counsel, and the Law Clerk have the capability to go in there, redact and vet those documents and give us only the information that we need for this study.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. While I understand the importance of this motion, I would like to move an amendment. And the amendment, which has been emailed to all the P9s of members, I'll read them into the record. After the words original motion, add the words with the exception of sealed warrants. And the reason for that, Mr. Chair, is that the seal order is made by a judge. And if a judge made a decision to seal a warrant, the Rcmp just won't have the ability to contradict that or to provide us with that information.
Debate on the amendment. Okay, Mr. Bazan.
I'll just say that I believe it's Section 187 of the Criminal Code mandates that all documents that are related to a warrant under Section 6 of the Criminal Code, which includes video surveillance and wiretapping, that they are automatically sealed. So this is way a backhanded move to ensure that all the warrants will never be released to our committee. So it's a cover-up.
Okay, Ms. Khalid.
Thank you, Chair. I take exception to everything that we try to do to try to balance out, and the work in this committee gets called a cover-up. That is absolutely not the case. What we're trying to do is to ensure that the RCMP, as they have been so forthcoming, are able to continue to be forthcoming with the documents that they provide in a manner that they can actually provide them. It's very unfair for Mr. Bazan to accuse cover-ups for a very small amendment like this, which only limits the scope of it so that we don't have to call commissioners in front of Parliament and hold them in contempt or whatever else game that the opposition may want to play.
To conduct a vote on the amendment.
All right, the vote is on the amendment of Ms. Khalid. Ms. Khalid,
I vote in favor.
Mr. Scarpellegio,
In favor.
Mr. Hardy,
In favor.
Ms. Hepfner,
In favor.
Mr. Erskine Smith,
Yes, I vote in favor.
Mr. Bazan,
Opposed.
Mr. Keurig,
I'm opposed.
Mr. Williams,
I'm opposed.
Monsieur Villemure,
Je suis contre.
Mr. Green.
Je suis contre. That's for you.
It's 5-5.
Okay, and I vote opposed to the amendment. So the amendment is defeated. Back to the original motion. Is there any further debate on the motion? Seeing none, is there anybody opposed to the motion?
I'm opposed, Chair.
Okay, then I will ask the clerk to conduct a vote on the motion.
Mr. Bazan,
In favor.
Mr. Keurig,
I'm in favor.
Mr. Williams,
I'm in favor.
Monsieur Villemure,
Je suis pour.
Mr. Green,
Je suis pour.
Ms. Khalid,
I vote against.
Mr. Scarpellegio,
I vote against.
Mr. Hardy,
I vote against.
Ms. Hepfner,
Je suis contre.
Mr. Erskine Smith,
I vote against.
5-5.
Okay, it's 5-5, so I vote in favor of the motion. Okay, so the motion is carried.
What years did you serve as the Privacy Commissioner of Canada?
Between 2014 and 2022.
So were you surprised yesterday during the testimony by the RCMP and Minister Medicino that the on-device investigative tool for hacking into our cell phones has predated your time as Privacy Commissioner, and they never once consulted you or asked about, the privacy impact of this, of using this on our devices?
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.